Hi, another update. Um, Likely to be a little bit incoherent because it's morning and I only had 2 hours sleep. Um, I've been in bed for the past 2 days with a really bad flare up. There's been some tears. There's been lots of writhing around on the floor. I woke up in pain at 5 o'clock this morning after getting to sleep at about half two. But it's a level where I can sit downstairs. I've just written a blog post, but I know that there'll be some people that sort of look at these videos and don't read the blog, and likewise there'll be some people that don't read the blog and watch the videos. I mean, these aren't getting that many views, but that doesn't bother me because it's really cathartic for me as well to talk about this, even though it's just to my phone. So I'm doing it for me as much as I'm doing it for anybody else who might be going through this, or who might be interested in what I'm going through, or find sort of solace, if that's the right word, in watching these and not feeling alone because there's somebody else who's been through it. As I felt when I watched videos from the likes of Logan Olucci and Josephine in Norway. As I've said before, their videos helped me a lot. So Sunday was Mother's Day. So my partner and I went to his parents. They picked us up in the car, so I didn't have to walk far. I sat on a few different chairs. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I spend every day in the same chair with the maternity pillow wrapped around me, or sat on this chair in the kitchen for short bursts of time. I sat on a few different chairs, and then we came home, and we'd arranged a few weeks ago to see our friends, Hannah and Sophie. They came over. We meet up about once every few months and just sort of, well, they just come here at the moment because we can't go anywhere or do anything because of my situation. But I haven't been drinking for a long time, really. I was never a big drinker, but before I knew that this was slipping rib syndrome and 12th rib syndrome and everything, you'll know that from my blog and things that there was a period of time when I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I avoided alcohol altogether, especially when I thought it was kidney stones in the early stages, because I've had those before and I know that having alcohol is not good with those. And I just avoided it, and I've been eating very healthily, and even after knowing it's nothing to do with my immune system and things, I've continued to eat fairly healthily, especially because I'm so inactive, because I was walking like 8 to 12 miles a day and cycling to work, and now I might walk 8 to 12 meters a day, so it's a big change, and I have put on a lot of weight. So taking care of my overall health is important, but I wanted to have some wine and be sociable and have a little bit of normality, and I felt okay with that. So I probably had about 3 glasses of red wine over about 5 hours, and then I felt really increased pain that was much worse than normal, and I went to bed, and I was so bad on Monday. I was in bed until 10 p.m. I asked my partner to bring my stick up to bed, and he had to help me to get out of bed so that I could eat. I was in bed for most of the day yesterday. I didn't sleep very much because I was woken up by pain, and it's sort of it takes me back to November when I was sort of, I'd say, at my worst. It was just sort of, I've still got it now, but it's at a level where I can think and I can talk, but it kind of feels like at the moment it's just really intense tightness, and it feels like my spine's sort of being crushed, and there's nerve pain. But yesterday, when it was at its worst, I felt like the only way to describe it, and I know it's a strange way to describe it, is that it felt like my spine had been replaced with a red hot poker, and like somebody had their fist inside my back and was squeezing really hard, and that I was getting sort of like taser shocks between my ribs every now and again as well. It was really intense. And normally when I get pain, it's from standing or walking, and lying flat on the floor helps to relieve it. And I might get residual pain for a couple of hours afterwards. But this has been 3 days. And like I say, now at this moment in time, it's there, but I can talk and I can think. Whereas yesterday and the day before, I was just lay in bed. Even lying on my back, I didn't really get any relief. I was trying every position. I had ibuprofen, even though I know it doesn't work, just because I was so desperate and I hoped that it would. I tried topical ibuprofen. I've been having like ginger tea and things again, which is anti-inflammatory, and I can't work out if it was the wine or it was being in different chairs or even the car journey, because there were a couple of times when we went around corners or over bumps where I got sort of sharp pains in my ribs. So I don't know what's caused this spike, but it's been pretty horrible. I've had a couple of days where I've been really down, but I think really if I take myself out of the situation, that's probably to be expected. Because I'm you know how things are. I'm at home, I'm not working, things are tough financially, I don't see anyone. And there's the pain as well, and all the anxiety I've had from my GP and things. And I see my surgeon in 5 weeks, minus 1 day, so 4 weeks and 6 days. And I'm getting a little bit anxious about it, partly because I think at medical appointments I tend to sort of freeze up, and I get this sort of, oh, what if they think I'm crazy? What if they don't believe me? Because that's happened so many times. And I need to, again, take myself out of the situation, and I need to look at the fact that, so many people have had brilliant experiences with Joel Dunning. I've seen his work on YouTube. I've been in touch with him by email, and he's, I already feel like he's gone above and beyond, even before I was his patient, and I feel like I'm being listened to. So I need to just put that anxiety aside and just sort of look at things how they are. But it's still there because of the experiences that I've had with doctors, and in particular with my GP. And I'm also increasingly anxious about my 11th rib, because I know now, like, that 12 is definitely coming into contact with my hip, and I can feel it. And the reason I didn't think it was initially was, I think, because I felt the pain sort of under the tip of the 12th rib, and because I didn't really understand anatomy and how the hip curves and sort of inside and things, but I can feel it, it's there, and it happens. And I do think that the really intense pain that I've had over the past few days, if I trace it sort of from, you can't see, and I can't stand up at the moment, but if I trace it from my spine along sort of where the pain is, it always comes back to between ribs 9 and 10 on both sides. It's at that level. So I feel confident about that. I feel confident that we can fix rib 10. and that will alleviate some of my pain. It might not get rid of it completely, but I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with that, and if it does, that's amazing. It does for some people, and if it doesn't, I expect to have at least some relief, and I'm at peace with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. But it's the 11th rib. It's causing me a lot of it's that word again, anxiety. I wouldn't really class myself as an anxious person, but I am anxious about it, because it sticks out sort of so much at the side, and I can get my fingers under it, and it just feels really, really weird. Because I know that it's not supposed to be connected at the front, it's a floating rib. I can't help but wonder if maybe it's come out at the back, and I do get a lot of clicking right there. It feels very tender when I touch where it connects at the back. So I'm kind of anxious about that, and what can be done about it, and how much it sticks out and how much it moves. It moves so much. And like when I get into bed, for example, my 12th rib's buried under 11 or stuck between 11 and my hip, and I think it's because I know what can be done about SRS, and I know what can be done about the 12th rib situation, and I'm a very sort of logical, methodical, scientific-y sort of person, and I like to know things, and I research things, and because I don't know about that, it's just causing a little bit of uneasiness. But I think I'll be a little bit clearer on that once I've had my appointment, and talked about it, and let my surgeon see and feel, because it's really easy to see and feel what's going on. I just don't know exactly what's caused it, and what's sort of happening from that point of view. Sorry, I just had some pain, and it's taken me off track. Like, it's just the slightest movement, and I just get this like shooting pain down there where the 11th and 12th ribs are. I need to try and stay as still as possible. Even breathing in, if I take a deep breath in, it can cause pain down there, which is really strange. I feel like I'm starting to waffle a bit now. The other thing that I want to discuss with my surgeon is the possibility of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's something that I've known about, the link between EDS and slipping rib syndrome for quite a while, but I didn't really look into it that much at first, because I was so focused on pain and the SRS and my 12th rib. And also I thought that if you were hypermobile, if you had EDS, I would have broken things or dislocated things in the past. But I spent some time, well, before I say that, I know that I would say most people that have slipping rib syndrome also have EDS, and those that haven't have had some kind of like sports injury or trauma to the rib cage or pregnancy. And obviously, I've not had anything like that. So I wanted to look it up, and I've looked up, the symptoms and things of EDS, and there's a lot of things that are not related to my slipping ribs there's diagnoses that I've had over the years. I've written them down. There's lactose intolerance, there's acid reflux, I've got a hiatal hernia, I've got TMJ disorder, which is, I don't know if you can hear that, but my jaw clicks. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's not. Periodontitis, so my gums get inflamed, even though I brush my teeth and floss and use Corsadil. My gums are really tender. Chronic migraines, which I'm on medication for. vertigo, irritable bowel syndrome, flat feet. So they're all things that I've had diagnoses of. And then there's things that I get like abnormal palpitations, which can come and go really quickly. They don't happen very often. But I've had sort of heart monitors and things in the past. Not heart monitors, but those things where they stick things on you in the hospital, and everything's gone back normal. My appendix as well, that ruptured in 2016, and then I got peritonitis, and the wound dehisced. It didn't heal properly, and I had a 10 centimeter hole in my stomach that had to close naturally. So all of these things, like, you know, the diagnoses that I have, and also the wound not healing properly, and things, these are all linked to EDS. And my hips click. A lot of times when I go up out of a chair, I can feel movement. It's not incredibly painful. I mean, I'd say it's like about a 1, and it's very, very quick. So it's not something I'm really worried about. My knees click, my back, my spine clicks a lot. But I thought, you know, that's just part of being 32. So I don't know, but it's something that I want to explore, and I know that a lot of people that see Joel get referred to a geneticist who has a lot of experience in EDS, and I kind of want to explore that avenue, but again at the back of my mind, and I've got this sort of this anxiety of, you know, if I go to a doctor and say, look, I think I have this, will I be dismissed again? And it's sort of created this fear, and you know, I know it's there, and I know why it's there. It's because of, you know, the experiences that I've had in the past. So, you know, I need to get over that fear. It's like a fear of rejection in a way, and I need to look at sort of. I need to advocate for myself and be brave and just sort of come out with it, because I've got reason to believe that it's there. You know, it's not like I'm just making stuff up. And I think because I've been accused of that in the past, with in terms of the slipping rib syndrome, and having to, you know, go to London for diagnosis, and having to fight with my doctor to get a referral, and to even acknowledge that it exists. It's really created this sort of anxious mindset, but I'm aware of it, and you know, I just need to try and put all that anxiety at the back of my mind, and then focus on other things. I've been on the EDS UK website, and I've looked at everything that they have, and there's actually a support group really local to me. So I've sent them an email, and sort of introduced myself and said sort of where I'm at with sort of symptoms wise, and the fact that I'm awaiting a date from my surgeon. But I've asked if there's any way that, even though I don't have a diagnosis, would it be possible for me to sort of participate, because just so that I can sort of learn and listen to other people's experiences. So I only sent that email maybe an hour ago, but I'm really lucky that it's, you know, the meetings that they have are like a very short taxi ride away from me, which is, you know, that's great. And also, you know, that there is support there if I do have EDS. There's support there if I need it, and lots of resources. It would explain so much for me. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna focus on the positives. I feel like I need to lie down a little bit now. not in a huge amount of pain, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to stay downstairs today. But we'll see how it goes. I need to really limit my physical activity. Yeah, I'll leave it there, really. Sorry if it's waffly. But like I said, doing these videos is in a way, it's more for my benefit, because it really helps me to just be able to talk about this stuff and get things off my chest, even though it's just to a phone. It feels like I'm actually talking to somebody, and it really helps. So I'm going to continue to do these, and if they help someone in future, that would be great. But if not, it's helping me.